What's up, family? I am your guy Benjamin 7, and this is TCC. We talk about truth, culture, and community. Yes, we back again to put that work in. I truly appreciate you all for stopping through, and as usual, we got some more good content for you today. I'm excited. This one resonates with me because I can bring you all into my backyard. Cleveland, Ohio, the place where I grew up at. We're going to unbox that today. I will be reacting to what it's like living in Cleveland. I was born and raised there, so I think I'm a credible witness on the subject. As usual, when we jump in, we're going to break down some principles, but before we do, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you hit that post notification bell so you can be caught up on all the content we produce, because this is what we do. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go.
Is Cleveland a rundown, has-been town? Where are the nice places in Cleveland to live? And is it true that Cleveland's improving? We're going to go over that and even more, everyone. We're going to unbox the city of Cleveland.
Let's get it. I don't know who music that is. Ain't about to get me. Downtown. It's a beautiful skyline, actually, on this day.
Cleveland? I don't know about that one. But here we are in one of America's former and the mistake by the lake. CLE. Believeland? I don't know about that one. But here we are in one of America's former finest cities. There's a chance you're thinking about moving here one day.
Are you?
Maybe just visiting.
We're going to break it down
Curious
today.
about this place.
We're going to break it down.
It's a city with a big stigma as being run down and crime ridden. We're going to talk about that.
The
But to be
flats
the most
down
helpful
there.
about Cleveland and for you to know
The
where you
flats.
should live here,
It's a lot of
we're
nice
going to
stuff
gloss over the
downtown.
different parts of town and show you the good suburbs,
building it
the
back
shitty
up.
side of town, and of course downtown, and where the middle class lives. Generally, the west.
So, before he goes in, this is pretty accurate. I'm no longer in the Cleveland area. I'm a little bit southeast. But still, this is where I grew up, and this is a place where I come from. West side is where the rich people live at, closer to downtown. Fun, Lakewood is pretty dope. As you see, we get towards the east side where I grew up. This is downtown here. See the east side? Don't move here. The worst hood ever, the poor. This is where I come from. Okay? And we're going to understand why this area is the way it is. Let's go.
Side of Cleveland is the safest part, where there's a lot of middle class folks with some crime and some rundown areas, but it's not too bad. Downtown is getting safer, and they're improving it, but it's still sketchy in many
They're
areas.
building up downtown
The
for
east
sure.
side is really run down and full of crime and poverty.
That's where your boy from.
And the far outer ring suburbs are where it's the safest and where all the rich people live. We're
Supposedly.
going to begin on the west side of town. If you're going to move to Cleveland proper and bring your family, it's likely you're going to wind up on the western side of the city.
Why are you going to wind up on the western side of the city? Because that's where there's limited black people. Most of the black people is on the east side. He's not going to say it, but I'm here to interpret for you. When they talk about the bad, the rundown, places that you don't want to be, they talking about places where our people are. That should make you feel some type of way.
Where it's the most safe and where the schools are better. An example of this is Lakewood.
Where it's the most safe and
Population
schools are better.
50,000.
Schools are better, it's the most safe, and black people ain't around. So that means we not getting good education and we are not safe. And that's very interesting because the east side, or the inner cities where most black people live, is the most heavily policed areas. So how is it still unsafe when we have more police officers in those areas? Interesting, right?
Anything here from Lakewood south down to Parma is a pretty good area, but it gets worse the more south you get from Lakewood. In Lakewood, homes are an average
Pretty nice homes over there.
$250,000, and the average person makes about $60K. A lot of people are big fans of this part of the Cleveland metro area, and it certainly isn't the most expensive place you could live either. It's pretty active here, and there's little neighborhoods within Lakewood with shopping and bars and restaurants.
Y'all ever heard of
There's lots of
redlining?
little coffee
They don't give you loans that would allow you to buy a house in Lakewood. Just a little tidbit.
shops and family-owned businesses. This part of the Cleveland metro area is very
Even if
progressive.
you got good
If
credit.
you're a certain color or gender or lead whatever alternative lifestyle, there won't be a problem at all. It's the type of place where you can walk around and bike around or go to the park and just chill.
It's safe.
So So that's the west side of Cleveland, specifically the Lakewood area.
Where the whites at?
However, Lakewood and the other inner ring suburbs like Cleveland Heights have gone downhill. Just getting
I wonder
infected
why.
with the Cleveland blight and crime. that was
Cleveland
once
blight
only
and
in
crime. Cleveland blight and crime is another word for black people. They just buzzing for black people. It's going down because of black people. That's what they saying.
pockets. So there's that.
Get this good ad out the way.
If you want to get really fancy for Cleveland, you can go to places like Bay Village and Westlake on the far fringes of the metro area, or to places like Bracknell on the far eastern fringe, where every other person.
Look at this right here. The poor. Glenville. This is where I grew up at. I went to Glenville High School. You can literally spit to where the millionaires be. But check out. There's this barrier called the Bracknell Police. Oh yeah, that's a tough one to get around. They be real heavy. You see this freeway right here? You can literally get off the freeway, bust a left, and be in Bracknell, or bust a right and be in the Glenville area, St. Clair. If you try to bust a left, I hope your L's and I's is straight, because the police will get up upon you. That's a fact.
Person's a millionaire, where all the basketball players and politicians live.
Yeah.
But nearby is Glenville, which is a pit. So there's
A pit.
that.
A pit. So there's that. That's where we from. They call where we from a pit. That's pretty messed up, man. What's good? Like, let's just be honest. There's not much for us to do in these areas. There's only a few stores like your corner store, your Dollar Generals, your gas stations, which are owned by Arabs, some food spots, some Chinese spots. You know what I mean? It's interesting that these places are called pits, or the worst hoods ever, or where the poor live, but all the minorities come there and set up their businesses. We can't be that poor if people are coming from West whatever, coming from Saudi Arabia or wherever they coming from, the Middle East, and coming and pulling up in our neighborhood, starting businesses and getting rich. How is that the poor? We ain't poor. It's just limited opportunities. Let's keep it a buck.
Okay, now for perspective, we're going to visit the far eastern suburbs where supposedly it's the best place to live.
That's where my wife from. Hood guy. Got him a suburban girl. Let's get it.
Shaker Heights has been called the best Cleveland suburb for a long time.
Yeah, she from
now.
Shaker.
Folks here earn about $100K a year, but home prices are only a little bit higher on average than over in Lakewood. That's because there are some parts of Shaker Heights like this where it's really wealthy.
Gotta have a little edge to you, fam.
Some parts of town closer to East Cleveland where it's sketchy.
We just come
For
from
the
the
best
streets,
suburb
bro.
in the
That's it.
Cleveland area, the taxes are going to be high, but the schools will be good. But
Good
you have
school
to drive
system.
through some sketchy areas to get downtown, so there's that.
What sketchy area? That's Kinsman on down. Shaker literally turns or runs right into Kinsman. Kinsman takes you right downtown. From Kinsman, that's all black. And he said that's sketchy. This is where we live. This is what they left us. They bombed it out and depleted. It used to be warehouses and factories all in these areas. All of those businesses are gone. It's nothing left but churches, cemeteries, corner stores run by Arabs, gas stations run by Arabs, liquor stores, food spots run by minorities, and crime. That's 7. This is what they left us. And then they try to turn around and look at us like it's our fault. We working with what y'all left. You know what I mean? On top of that, they're starting to build back up these areas. They're calling it eminent domain, where they're buying people out of their property and they building it back up for guess who? Whoever
And it's
this
not
dude
as
made
good
this
as it used to be
video
in Shaker
for.
Heights, so it's just about time to think about moving even further out into Cleveland's eastern burbs if you want to be in a far safer area these days. Would you recommend people live in the Shaker Heights area and have to get
Shaker Heights is kind of a misconception because it was the fanciest, nicest suburb before. It's experienced a large decline. They still have some very nice areas because they have really big mansions, but a lot of it that borders on the city of Cleveland is just terrible and crime-ridden.
Yeah. They talking about us, man. If you're not familiar with Shaker, Shaker is the first and only city that I've seen that has set up barriers that you can only come in and out certain ways. Like, this city is so racist, they've literally blockaded themselves in certain areas. Like, if you're walking, you can literally be in Shaker, step to the left, and be in Cleveland. But you can't drive like that. If you want to come out of Cleveland into Shaker, it's a certain way that you got to do it. You can only get into Shaker from Shaker. You can't get into Shaker from Cleveland. Is that not racist? If that ain't racist, I don't know what is.
Itself. Actually, the better.
Oh yeah, they police off the chain too.
Now it's time to talk about the bad part of Cleveland, and there's a lot of that. A lot of East Cleveland's really run down and full of crime and poverty.
East
In
Cleveland used to be
1950,
beautiful.
Cleveland's population peaked at more than 900,000 people. And this was the 7th biggest city in the country. Today, Cleveland's
79th
population
is
is
Superior.
380,000.
Though 79th is
It's only
Cedar.
the 50th biggest city. So yeah,
I used to have a daycare. You bust it right here, go down. I used to have a daycare right here in a church over there called St. James AME. We was up in the inner city trying to help the folks out with affordable child care. Our people didn't rock with us though. That was yesteryear. We have not forgotten about who we are or what we do. Educating the younger generation. We still do that. We getting back to it, but we just had to amend the process some. Unfortunately, most of our people are still sleeping, so they don't know a good lick when they see one. That child care center so happened to be right near Cleveland Clinic. So it's a lot of opportunity if you are with certain entities. We were not a part of the Cleveland Clinic, so we kind of got stifled out. Cleveland Clinic partnered with KinderCare, big business, big entities in that space, and they pushed the little guys out. So that's what you see. As I was saying, this is all there is. Metro PCS,
this
corner
city has lost
store
more than
with a
half its
drive-through.
population in 70 years. A lot of that was
some
because
oil
of the
change
loss of
spots.
manufacturing and other blue-collar jobs.
Ain't much over there, man.
Cleveland certainly isn't very safe. This is the 7th most dangerous place in the nation when you measure things like murders per capita and robberies. Much of those crimes happen here in East Cleveland.
You
Here,
see,
you can get a home for anywhere between 25 and 50 grand.
everything
That's gonna
boarded
be
up
the average
almost.
cost of homes in an area like this. It certainly isn't very pretty here, nor can you walk around without worrying about being a victim.
Hey, whoever this guy is, man, this is racist commentary, by the way, bro. I don't think we're going to make it all the way through this. You kind of irritate me a bit.
One recent study from a sort of
You ain't even
reputable
from here.
source called Cleveland the 5th worst place to live in America, citing the widespread poverty, the high jobless rates, and terrible crime rate.
High jobless rates, because all the minorities are in there with their businesses. All the jobs have moved overseas somewhere. It's called gentrification, man. You suck the life out of the inner cities, watch the people go crazy because there's not many resources, and then look at them like they got a problem. They working with what they got. If there were resources in the inner city, if there were jobs, if there were careers, if there were education, if there was good food and nutrition, we would not have these issues. But since they're not,
1 in 3
they
people
ain't gonna
here
talk
lives in
about my
poverty.
city like
Crime
it's
rates are quadruple the national average.
like don't nothing good come
Cleveland saw
from
more
there.
murders last year than any other year in the last 30 years. 190 people were killed here. Again,
'Cause it's a crab
many
bucket.
of them in East Cleveland.
Oh yeah. Also, the streets. Man, I'm telling you. They think they slick. You buy a new car in Cleveland, it ain't gonna be new for long, man. I'm telling you. The streets, literally, the streets are all bad. I'm not talking about the hood euphemism. Nah, brother, it's some legit potholes in Cleveland. They'll tear your car up. The speed limit varies between 25 and 35, and you would think that that's slow, but try to go a little bit higher than that and see how your car appreciates you. He gonna give out.
A neighborhood that looks just like this. One Cleveland city
Look at this,
councilman
man.
said, "It's like war numbers. The level of violence should send a shockwave through City Hall and the business community. What we're going through is deadly serious." Of course, much of the crime is due to gangs and drugs and poverty.
No, it's not. It's due to ignorance and a lack of resources.
Nothing new there. Apparently, it's easier for these lowlifes to get a gun than it is a new car. The cops can't even keep up, and the morale's low, and many Cleveland cops are thinking about retirement.
Stop, man. He said the morale is low. My people, listen to me. If you see this content, man, I really want you to understand something. We live in a world where everybody feels that they're being hated on. You feel me? Everybody got haters. And I know if you genuine, a hater is some good motivation. This guy is a hater. He thinks that nothing good comes from where we come from. He says that the morale is low. Now this, my friends, we can change without resources, without jobs or careers. If we change our moral compass, and that's simply loving your brethren as you do yourself, then I promise you the areas will change. But this guy's a hater. He said something that was right. The morale is low. That's what we need to change and shut this hater's mouth. It is hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who think just like this guy. It's time to shut his mouth. Simply loving your neighbor as yourself. Whether you in a gang or not, you can love your brethren. The gangs can start working together. Why not? Oh, too much has happened. We all been through something. We all been hurt. We all have suffered from evil, but it's time to change that now. Or haters like this guy gonna continue to be able to say something. When folks hate on you, man, you gotta rise to the occasion, man. It's called being clutch, having that clutch gene. I know we all got it. When you're back against the wall and everybody counting you out. It's called being the underdog. We can do this. Ain't nothing greater than the underdog coming out on top. They're counting us out, everybody. Let's change that.
People are shooting, and they don't care who they hit, one cop said. They get into an argument, and right away the guns come out. And that is a shame.
It truly is a shame. I am your guy, Benjamin 7, and this is TCC, where we talk about truth, culture, and community. And truth is, even though they ain't leave us for much, we got what it takes. You feel me? Don't worry about this clown or clowns like him. We got what it takes. It's good in the hood. If we change these two things, the way that we think and the way that we love one another, man, we can build these communities up in no time. Obviously, it's something good in the hood if every minority want to come and bring their business to where we are. We the light of the world, and everybody knows it but us. And since we don't know it, we allow haters the opportunity to say foolish stuff like this gentleman, and it be right. Yeah, the hood is bad right now, but it's still good in the hood. You feel me? It's amazingness in the hood. I don't even know if that's a word, but yeah, it's that deep. And it's time for us to stand up. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you hit that post notification bell so you can be caught up on all the content we produce, because this is what we do. Let me know if y'all feeling where I'm coming from. If you come from the hood too, and you know this is how they view us, talk to me. Make sure you share this content if you can, because I truly appreciate y'all, man. I really, really do. Thank you all for stopping through here. It really means a lot to me, man. Much love, much respect. It's time to shut these haters' mouths up.